Alright, on this tutorial, we're going to go over how to detect and disarm mines. So on what we have on us right now for equipment is the mine detector. Make sure that this is inside your actual kit here. Something to note, this will not work if you have a helmet camera in your kit. So if you have a helmet camera, take that out. Otherwise, it will not show, it will not work properly. Um, on us here, we have some other mines that we'll use in the next tutorial for setting up minefields. But key to note is if you're detecting and disarming mines, make sure you have explosives on you, like your demolition charges. And we'll go over why in a second. And then obviously the diffusal kit, which is what you'll need to do a manual diffuse. Now that I have here, and I know that there's mines somewhere on this road in front of me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the brackets here. And you see the first bracket I have is the mine detector. So that little yellow dot in the center, that's me in relation to where the mine detector is detecting mines. So I'm going to walk around and you see a little red dot pops up and I'm starting to hear a tone. And as I walk closer to it, that dot gets closer, tone gets a little bit louder and quicker. So it aids with being able to know, hey, there's a mine somewhere, and then in relation where I'm looking for this mine. Since it's on the road, it's pretty obvious. There's a VS50 anti-personnel mine here. Okay, so we found it, we've identified it. At this point, you need to discuss whether you're just going to bypass it or if you're going to disarm it. For our purposes, we're going to disarm it. But before we go into disarming it and how to, because there's really two different types, we're going to look for our other mine which we placed on the road. See, over here is another anti-personnel mine. Might be hard to see, but there is a 20-meter tripwire. Since this is on the road, this is kind of popped up, which makes it a lot easier to see. But if it's in a field like that, unless you see really the stakes, the actual tripwire itself is almost impossible to see. So you really need to be careful if you know you're walking into a minefield, whether you have just a mine in the ground like that or something like this that is connected to a tripwire. Because something like this is, I mean, you can see how far it extends out either left and right, and it's designed to kill and maim people and that all the way out in that direction. So mines like these, if they're in minefield like that, is very, very dangerous. So we've identified two mines here. One tripwire, one which is just a pressure plate. We can tell because we literally see what is the igniter for that mine. Sometimes in Arma, you will not be able to tell what type of explosive it is. There's different modules where you can put IEDs in objects, and you'll be able to detect the IED on the mine detector, but you won't be able to really make a definitive conclusion as to what's going to set it off. And so that really goes into the two types of disarmings you're going to do. Number one is manual. And manual is exactly what it sounds. You're going to walk up to the explosive ordnance and you're physically going to defuse it. The second one is going to be a controlled detonation, meaning essentially you just put a stick of some sort of explosive near it and just simply blow it up in a controlled fashion where no one is around it. Those are really your two ways of disarming it. And if you want to take the chance and do a manual disarm and you feel comfortable, fine. But for something like this that is a wired, I would highly recommend just do a controlled detonation and don't fuck around with the wires because it's very easy to set off. So we're going to do a manual diffusal on our VS50 over here. Then we're going to do a controlled diffusal, controlled detonation on the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up to it slowly. I would suggest you have the ACE interaction open. Be very careful. If you're going to try to get prone, move backward first so you don't go down. And you see right here, I have the option to defuse it from that defusal kit. So I'm going to go ahead and use that action, and I'm going to defuse the mine. And you'll see that the mine is no longer red and no longer having an auto tone. So this is now disarmed, and I can actually pick it up, throw it in my inventory. That's a manual defusal. For the other anti-personnel mine, which is over here, what I'm going to do is determine where are those stakes. I see those stakes, so I can tell that the tripwire is somewhere on the other side. So I can actually get quite close. I could disarm this if I wanted to, manually, but I'm not going to do that. Because this is going to be the demonstration for remote control detonation. So I get close enough to where I know wherever explosive device I'm going to use is going to trigger it. I'm going to use an M112. I'm going to place that M112 down. And I'm going to arm the M112. Once it is armed, I'm ready to do my controlled detonation. Highly advised, since mines are designed to put shrapnel up and out, you get behind cover. Do your detonation procedure. Talk through to everyone else that, hey, you're doing this, and that everyone is safely away. And then fire in a hole, fire in a hole, fire in a hole. Come back over here. Our mine no longer exists. That is how you do detecting and removing mines.